Welcome to another personal pondering in the Psalms, and today we're taking a third and last brief look at Psalm 31, a psalm that I described as sort of being under the radar for many Christians. One I confess was largely unfamiliar to me, but which I have been blessed greatly by as I've reflected on it over these last few days. I divided the psalm up into three sections. So you have 1 to 5, which is the psalmist's prayer. You have 6 to 18, which is the psalmist's plight. And now in the last section, you have 19 to 24, which is the psalmist's praise. And it highlights something that's come home to me very fresh over recent weeks and months as I've been spending more time in the Psalms, is that the psalmist's instinctive response every time God answers his prayer, or when God promises to answer his prayer, or he's assured that God is going to answer his prayer, the psalmist's instinctive response is to give thanks. And I find that such a challenge to my own heart. I'm very quick to ask God for things. I'm very quick to express to God my need and my emotions and so on. But I'm not nearly so instinctively quick to then come back and say, thank you, praise you for doing it. And another element, indeed, that we'll notice at the end of this psalm. This last section, in a sense, has two sections itself. So you have verses 19 to 22, which is very personal. And David is thanking God for deliverances carried out in the past, but also therefore will happen in the future. And he speaks about the goodness of God. Oh, how abundant, verse 19, is your goodness. And he says two things about it. You stored it up for us, and some of it you've made known to the world at large. So you've stored it up for us in the sight of the children of mankind. This opens up a great thought to us, that God has stored up much goodness for us, some of which we enjoy in this life, some of which, but not all of which, is apparent to those who watch us and see us and observe us from outside, but all of which, infinitely more than we can possibly comprehend, is stored up for us only to be enjoyed beyond this life. There's an element of some now, but so much more to come. As the Queen of Sheba said to Solomon, the half has not been told. You and I hope, are very conscious of being immensely, extraordinarily, generously blessed by God with his abundant goodness in this life. But my friends, I need to tell you, that's a tiny proportion of what is waiting for us in glory itself. And so much is that goodness in our lives that others can see it. They see the blessings in our lives. But here's the other angle on this. Not only is this goodness being stored up for us, but we are being stored up for it. Verse 20, in the cover of your presence you hide them from the plots of men, you store them in your shelter. So God is preserving our blessings for us, but he's also preserving us for it. It's a sort of positive double whammy, if you like. We can't lose it. It's guaranteed for us, and God will keep us for it. So there's the personal element. God's abundant goodness stored up for us, partially experienced by us now. But here's the other element I was hinting at a little bit earlier. Having experienced all this and testified to himself, David now turns his focus to his people and encourages them and instructs them on the basis of what God has done for him to praise God as well. So verse 23, love the Lord, all you his saints. Because of who God is and what God does for his people, our instinctive natural response should be to love him. And the more we love him, the more confidence we'll have in him. One of my favorite commentators is a guy called Leupold, and particularly his commentary on the Psalms. And on this particular psalm, on these particular verses, Leupold says this: faith will not be lost if love keeps burning. The more you love God, the more you instinctively trust him and have faith in him. Faith will not be lost if love keeps burning. You could paraphrase David's instruction to his people in this short sentence: don't ever lose faith in him. And the best way never to lose faith in God is just to love him and to love him and to love him all the more. And of course, he alone is deserving of it. The Lord bless you.